The envelope felt heavy in her hands. $1 million. Maya stared at the check, then at the man across the table. Dante Romano didn't blink, didn't smile. Just watched her with those cold, calculating eyes that had made grown men confess their darkest sins. "All you have to do," he said, his voice smooth as aged whiskey, "is get close to Vincent Caruso. Work in his club. Report back to me." Her fingers trembled. $1 million could change everything. Her mother's medical bills. Her brother's college tuition. The eviction notice burning a hole in her pocket. But something in his eyes made her stomach twist. This wasn't just business. This was war. And she would be caught in the crossfire. "What happens," she whispered, "when he finds out?" Dante leaned forward, and for the first time, something flickered across his face. Something almost human. "Then I'll make sure you survive." This is a story that will grip you from start to finish. If you want to know how Maya's choice changed everything, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Every view matters. Let's begin. Maya's feet were screaming by hour 10 of her shift. The diner's fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as she wiped down table 7 for the third time that night. Her reflection in the window looked back at her, 26 years old and already exhausted down to her bones. "Coffee black," a voice said behind her. She turned and froze. The man who just slid into the booth didn't belong here. Not with that perfectly tailored suit that probably cost more than her yearly rent. Not with the way every person in the diner suddenly found their plates fascinating. "Coming right up," she managed, her voice steadier than her hands. When she returned with the coffee, he was watching her. Really watching her. Like he could see past the stained uniform and into her soul. "Maya Collins," he said. Not a question. A statement. Her blood ran cold. "Do I know you?" "No. But I know you." He slid a folder across the table. "St. Mary's Hospital. Room 302. Eleanor Collins. Stage 4. Maya's hand shot out, snatching the folder. Inside were photos of her mother. Medical records. Bill's stamped final notice in angry red letters. "How did you? I know everything worth knowing." He took a sip of coffee, grimacing slightly. "You work 3 jobs. Your brother got accepted to MIT but can't afford to go. You're 2 weeks from eviction." His eyes met hers. "You're drowning, Maya. And I'm offering you a life raft." She wanted to throw the coffee in his face. Wanted to scream. But all she could think about was her mother's hollow cheeks, her brother's acceptance letter hidden in a drawer because they both knew it was just a beautiful, impossible dream. "What do you want?" The words tasted like surrender. "Sit." It wasn't a request. She slid into the booth across from him, hyper-aware of the men stationed at the door. The way the other customers kept their heads down. This man didn't just command attention. He owned the very air in the room. "My name is Dante Romano," he said, and recognition hit her like a freight train. Everyone in New York knew that name. Whispered it like a curse or a prayer depending on which side of the law you stood. "I need someone Vincent Caruso won't see coming," Dante continued. "Someone clean. Someone desperate enough to take a risk." He pulled out a check, sliding it across the table. $1 million. Half now. Half when the job is done. Maya stared at the numbers. More money than she'd see in 10 lifetimes. "What's the job?" "Vincent owns a high-end nightclub in Manhattan. Lou Serpent. I need you to work there. Get close to him. Tell me what he's planning." "You want me to spy?" Her voice came out flat. "I want you to survive." Something dangerous flickered in his eyes. "Vincent Caruso is expanding into my territory. He's getting product from somewhere I can't trace. If I don't find his source, There will be war. Real war. The kind where innocent people get caught in the crossfire. He leaned closer. People like your mother. Your brother. The threat was velvet-wrapped but unmistakable. And if I say no? Dante stood, buttoning his suit jacket. Then you say no. I don't force anyone, Maya. But that eviction notice? Those medical bills? They won't wait for you to find another solution. He placed a business card on top of the check. You have 24 hours to decide. After that, the offer expires. He walked to the door, his men falling into formation around him like a well-oiled machine. At the threshold, he turned back. For what it's worth, he said, his voice carrying across the suddenly silent diner, you have more courage in your eyes than most men I know. Don't waste it serving coffee. Then he was gone, and Maya was left staring at a check that could save her family or destroy her completely. 3 days later, Maya stood outside Le Serpent in a black cocktail dress she'd borrowed from her roommate. The club's entrance gleamed with chrome and red velvet, a doorway into a world she'd only seen in movies. Dante had been thorough. Her fake resume was flawless. Her references impeccable. According to her paperwork, Maya had worked at exclusive clubs in Los Angeles and Miami. Nobody would dig too deep. Dante had made sure of that. You must be the new girl. A woman with razor-sharp cheekbones and a clipboard appeared. I'm Simone. You're on VIP section tonight. Don't screw it up. The club's interior was all dark corners and expensive liquor. Music pulsed through the floor, and beautiful people draped themselves across leather couches like living decorations. Maya felt completely out of her depth. VIP booth 3, Simone snapped, handing her a tray with a bottle of champagne that probably cost more than her car. That's Mr. Caruso's table. Be professional. Be invisible. Don't speak unless spoken to. Maya's heart hammered as she approached the booth. Vincent Caruso sat at the center, surrounded by men in expensive suits. He was older than Dante, mid-40s, with silver threaded through his dark hair and a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Your champagne, Mr. Caruso," she said, proud that her voice didn't shake. He looked up, and something in his gaze made her skin crawl. It wasn't the calculated assessment in Dante's eyes. This was something hungrier. Something that saw her as prey. "You're new." He waved away the man beside him, patting the now empty seat. "Sit. Have a drink." Every instinct screamed to refuse. But she thought of the money already deposited in her account. Her mother's surgery scheduled for next month. Her brother's tuition paid in full. She sat. "What's your name, beautiful?" "Maya. Maya." He rolled her name around like he was tasting it. "You're too classy for this place. Where'd you work before?" The lies Dante had constructed rolled off her tongue smoothly. Vincent listened, nodding, his fingers drumming against his glass. Up close, she could see the hardness in his features, the casual cruelty in how he snapped at his men. "You know what I think?" Vincent leaned close enough that she could smell his cologne, expensive and cloying. "I think you're exactly where you need to be." Her phone buzzed in her clutch. A text from an unknown number. "Stay alert. His head of security is suspicious. Don't drink anything you didn't pour yourself." Ice flooded her veins. Dante was watching. Even here, in Vincent's territory, she wasn't alone. The thought should have been comforting. Instead, it felt like the walls were closing in. "Mr. Caruso," one of his men interrupted, "the shipment—" "Not here." Vincent's voice turned to steel. He stood, straightening his jacket. "Maya, you'll work my table every night. Simone will arrange it." His hand brushed her shoulder, lingering just long enough to make his intentions clear. "We're going to be great friends." As he walked away, Maya realized her hands were shaking. She'd crossed a line tonight. Stepped into a world where one wrong move could get her killed. Her phone buzzed again. "You did well. Meet me at the address I'm sending. We need to talk." 20 minutes later, Maya stood in the back office of a closed restaurant in Brooklyn. Dante sat behind the desk, jacket discarded, sleeves rolled up. For the first time, she saw the tattoos covering his forearms, intricate, beautiful, and vaguely threatening. "He liked you," Dante said without preamble. "That's good. It means he'll trust you faster." His eyes met hers. "It also means you're in more danger than I anticipated." "You said you'd keep me safe." "I will." The certainty in his voice should have been reassuring. Instead, it felt like a chain clicking into place. "But you need to understand what you're dealing with. Vincent doesn't just use people. He collects them, breaks them, makes them dependent on him." He stood, moving around the desk. "If he gets too close, you tell me immediately." "Understood." Maya nodded, throat tight. Dante was standing close now, close enough that she could see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes, close enough to feel the heat radiating from him. "Why me?" she whispered. "You could have hired a professional. Someone trained for this." Because Vincent would spot a professional in a heartbeat. His hand lifted, and for a breathless moment she thought he might touch her face. Instead, he tucked a strand of hair behind her ear with surprising gentleness. "You're real, Maya. That's your strength. Don't lose it trying to play a part." The air between them crackled with something electric, something dangerous. Dante stepped back abruptly. "There's a tracker in your phone now. If you're ever in trouble, press the power button 3 times. My men will be there in minutes." He handed her a small box. "Earrings. There's a microphone in the left one. Everything you hear, I hear." "You're bugging me?" "I'm protecting you." His jaw tightened. "Vincent's planning something big. Something that's going to get a lot of people killed if I don't stop it. You're my eyes and ears inside his operation." He moved to the door, then paused. "And Maya? Don't trust anyone at that club. Not even the other staff. Vincent has people everywhere." As Maya walked out into the Brooklyn night, she realized the truth. She wasn't just caught between 2 dangerous men. She was becoming part of something that could destroy her completely. And the terrifying part? She wasn't sure she wanted to stop. 2 weeks in, and Maya had become part of the club's furniture. She knew which drinks Vincent preferred, which jokes made him laugh, which topics made his eyes go cold. She'd learned to navigate the dangerous waters of his attention, close enough to hear secrets, but not so close that his interest became something she couldn't escape. Tonight, the VIP section hummed with tension. Vincent's men clustered around his booth, voices low and urgent. Maya approached with her tray, every sense heightened. "The shipment arrives Friday," one of them was saying. "Port of Newark. Container 447B. Vincent's hand shot out, silencing him. His eyes found Maya. "Champagne. Now." She poured with steady hands, hyper-aware of the microphone in her earring capturing every word. This was it. The intelligence Dante needed. "Maya." Vincent's hand caught her wrist as she turned to leave. Not hard enough to hurt, but firm enough to make his point. "Stay. I want you to meet someone." A man emerged from the shadows, tall, angular, with eyes like a predator. "This is Victor," Vincent said. "My new partner." The accent was unmistakably Russian. Maya's mind raced. Dante had mentioned Russian involvement but had no proof. Now it was sitting right in front of her. "Charming," Victor said, but there was no warmth in it. "Vincent, we should discuss business. Privately." Maya's trustworthy. Vincent pulled her down onto the seat beside him, his arm draping across her shoulders. "Aren't you, sweetheart?" She felt sick, but she smiled and nodded, playing the part of the pretty, empty-headed waitress who didn't understand or care about the dangerous men around her. "The shipment Friday is just the beginning," Vincent continued, emboldened by alcohol and ego. "Once we move it through Dante Romano's territory, everyone will know who really runs this city." Maya's blood turned to ice. They were setting Dante up, using his own routes to distribute whatever they were bringing in, making it look like his operation. "He'll retaliate," Victor said. "Let him." Vincent's smile was vicious. "I've got people inside his organization. The moment he makes a move, we'll know. And then we'll bury him." Maya's phone buzzed against her thigh. 3 short pulses. Dante's signal to get out. "No." "Excuse me," she said, standing on shaking legs. "Restroom." Vincent's hand tightened on her arm. "You heard all that, didn't you?" Time seemed to stop. Every eye in the booth fixed on her. "Heard what?" She laughed, the sound bright and empty. "Mr. Caruso, I serve drinks. I don't listen to business talk. I learned that lesson at my first club job." The silence stretched. Then Vincent laughed, releasing her. "Smart girl. Go on." Maya walked toward the restroom on legs that barely held her, expecting any moment to feel a hand grab her, a gun pressed to her spine. She made it to the bathroom, locked herself in a stall, and pressed the power button 3 times. Within seconds, her phone lit up. Back exit. Black SUV. Move. D. She didn't hesitate. Slipped out the bathroom window into the alley behind the club. A black SUV idled there, rear door open. She dove inside. Dante sat in the driver's seat, already moving before her door closed. "Did he hurt you?" "No. But he knows I heard something. He let me go, but he's testing you." Dante's hands tightened on the wheel. "We need to move you. Tonight. He'll have someone follow you home, see what you do." "Where are we going?" "Somewhere safe." He glanced at her in the rearview mirror, and something in his expression made her breath catch. "My penthouse. You'll stay there until this is over. I can't just disappear. My mother is being moved to a private facility as we speak. Your brother is on a plane to a safe house in Boston. They're fine, Maya. But you're blown. If you go home, you're dead." The reality of it hit her like a physical blow. She'd known this was dangerous, but knowing and experiencing were 2 different things. Dante's penthouse occupied the entire top floor of a building in Tribeca. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city, and everything was sleek, modern, and expensive. It should have felt cold. Instead, it felt like a fortress. "There are clothes in the guest room," Dante said, pouring 2 glasses of whiskey. "Everything you need. You're safe here, Maya. I promise you that." She took the glass he offered, their fingers brushing. The contact sent electricity up her arm. "Why do you care? I'm just an asset, a means to an end." Dante was quiet for a long moment. Then, "You stopped being just an asset the moment you walked into that club." He set his glass down, turning to face her fully. "Vincent Caruso destroys everything he touches. I've watched him do it for years. The thought of him putting his hands on you," his jaw clenched, "it makes me want to burn his entire empire to the ground." The confession hung in the air between them, raw and honest. "You barely know me," Maya whispered. "I know enough." He moved closer, and she could see the war in his eyes. The careful control he always maintained fracturing. "I know you work yourself to exhaustion for your family. I know you agreed to risk your life because you had no other choice. I know you have more courage in your little finger than most of my soldiers have in their entire bodies." His hand lifted, cupping her face with a gentleness that seemed impossible from a man like him. "And I know that if something happened to you, it would destroy me in ways I didn't think I could be destroyed anymore." Maya's breath caught. This wasn't supposed to happen. She wasn't supposed to feel this pull toward him. Wasn't supposed to see the lonely, haunted man beneath the ruthless exterior. "Dante," she breathed. And then he was kissing her. Soft at first, questioning, giving her every opportunity to pull away. But Maya didn't pull away. She leaned in, her hands fisting in his shirt, kissing him back with all the fear and adrenaline and impossible attraction she'd been fighting for weeks. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Dante rested his forehead against hers. "This changes everything," he said. "I know. Vincent will use it against us if he finds out. I know. But I can't," his voice roughened. "I can't pretend I don't feel this." Maya pulled back enough to meet his eyes. In them, she saw her own truth reflected. This wasn't just physical attraction. This was something deeper. Something terrifying. "Then don't," she whispered. "Don't pretend." Dante kissed her again, slower this time, like he was memorizing the taste of her. Like she was something precious he was afraid to break. Outside the windows, the city glittered. And somewhere in that sprawl of lights and shadows, Vincent Caruso was planning his next move. But here, in this moment, Maya let herself believe that maybe, just maybe, she could survive this. That maybe they both could. The call came at 3 a.m. Dante's phone lit up the darkness, and Maya watched the color drain from his face as he answered. "When?" A pause. "How many?" Another pause, longer this time. "I'm on my way." He was already out of bed, pulling on clothes with military efficiency. "There's been an attack. One of my warehouses. 3 men dead." Maya's stomach dropped. "Vincent." "Has to be." Dante checked his gun, his movements sharp and controlled. But she could see the rage simmering beneath. "I need you to stay here. Don't open the door for anyone. Don't." "I'm coming with you." "Absolutely not." "He did this because of what I heard." Maya was already dressing, her voice firm. "Because I got you that information. I'm not hiding while people die because of me." Dante's eyes blazed. "You think I'll let you anywhere near?" "I think Vincent is testing you. He wants to see if you'll leave me unprotected. If he can get to me." She moved closer, placing her hands on his chest. "But if I'm with you, surrounded by your men, he can't touch me. And you won't be distracted worrying." The logic was sound, and they both knew it. Dante cursed in Italian, but he handed her a bulletproof vest. "You stay in the car. You stay with Mako. And if I say run, you run. No arguments." The warehouse district was chaos. Fire trucks battled blazes, and police cars blocked the streets with their lights spinning. But what caught Maya's attention was the message spray-painted across the warehouse wall in letters 6 feet high. "Tick-tock, Romano. Son of a—" Dante's curse was cut off by his phone ringing again. He looked at the screen and went perfectly still. "It's your phone. Vincent is calling your phone." Maya's mouth went dry. "How does he?" "He knows you're with me." Dante's voice was deadly quiet. "Answer it. Put it on speaker." With shaking hands, Maya answered. "Hello. Maya. Maya. Maya." Vincent's voice was smooth as silk. "Imagine my surprise when my men reported that you left through the back window of my club. With Dante Romano." "I don't know what." "Don't insult my intelligence." The pleasantness vanished, replaced by cold fury. "Did you really think I wouldn't figure it out? That I wouldn't have people watching the girl who suddenly appeared in my club with perfect credentials and asked just a few too many questions. Dante's hand found hers, squeezing tight. Here's what's going to happen, Vincent continued. You're going to come back to me, Maya. You're going to tell me everything Dante knows, everything he's planning. And if you do that, I might let your family live. My family? Her voice cracked. Your mother in her hospital room. Your brother in that safe house in Boston that Dante thinks is so secure. Vincent laughed. I have people everywhere, sweetheart. Did you really think you could betray me without consequences? Dante's face had gone white with rage. He grabbed the phone. If you touch them, Vincent, I will make you beg for death. Tough words from a man whose empire is burning. Literally. Vincent's voice hardened. You have 24 hours, Romano. Either Maya comes to me, or her family dies. Then your remaining warehouses burn. Then your men. One by one. Until there's nothing left but ashes and memory. The line went dead. Maya couldn't breathe. This was her fault. She'd thought she could play in their world, thought she could take the money and spy and somehow everyone would be fine. But people were dead. Her family was in danger. And it was all because she'd been desperate and foolish. I have to go to him, she said. I have to. No. Dante's voice was absolute. You're not going anywhere near that man. He'll kill them, Dante. My mother, my brother, will be protected. He was already on his phone, barking orders in rapid Italian. I'm pulling everyone. Every soldier I have. Your family will have an army around them. It's not enough. You don't know what he's capable of. I know exactly what he's capable of. Dante grabbed her shoulders, forcing her to meet his eyes. But here's what Vincent doesn't know. He thinks I'm the same man I was a month ago. The man who made cold, calculated decisions based on profit and power. His grip tightened. But that man would have already traded you to save his empire. Would have put a bullet in you himself to tie up loose ends. Then why haven't you? Because I love you. The words fell like stones between them. Because somewhere between the diner and now, you became more important than any empire. More important than anything. His voice roughened. And I will burn this entire city down before I let him have you. Maya's eyes filled with tears. You can't choose me over everything you've built. Watch me. Dante pulled her close, his arms wrapping around her like he could shield her from the world. I've spent 10 years building an empire on fear and blood. But you, Maya Collins, you made me remember what it feels like to be human, to care about something other than power. He pulled back enough to look at her. So we're going to end this. Tonight. Together. How? A dangerous smile crossed his face. By giving Vincent exactly what he wants. With a twist he won't see coming. The plan was insane. Suicidal, even. But as Maya stood in the back room of a closed nightclub with Dante and his inner circle, she understood that sometimes the only way out was through. The shipment arrives at the port in 3 hours, Dante said, pointing to the map spread across the table. Vincent will be there personally. He won't trust anyone else with something this important. So will the FBI, added Marco, Dante's second-in-command. We sent them everything Maya recorded. They've been waiting for an excuse to nail Vincent for years. Maya's heart raced. But my family is already out. Dante pulled up a video feed on his tablet. Her mother, looking confused but safe, in what appeared to be a hospital room with armed guards at the door. Her brother in another location, also surrounded by security. The moment Vincent made his threat, I moved them. They're in a facility even I don't know the location of. Only Marco knows, and he won't tell anyone. Not even me. It was the smartest play. If Dante didn't know where they were, he couldn't reveal it under duress. But Vincent thinks you're coming, Dante continued, looking at Maya. He's expecting you to show up and beg for your family's lives. So that's exactly what you're going to do. What? He handed her a phone. You call him. Tell him you'll meet him at the port. That you'll tell him everything he wants to know if he just leaves your family alone. His eyes met hers. But you won't be alone. I'll have men in position. The FBI will have men in position. And the moment Vincent confirms the shipment is there, we take him down. He'll kill me the second he sees me, Maya said. Why would he keep me alive once he has what he wants? Because he won't have what he wants. You're going to feed him false information. Make him think I'm planning to hit him next week, at a different location. He'll adjust his plans, get distracted, just long enough for us to spring the trap. And if he doesn't believe me? Dante's jaw tightened. Then I'll get you out. Whatever it takes. 2 hours later, Maya stood on the dock at the port of Newark, the smell of salt and diesel heavy in the air. Shipping containers loomed like metal giants in the darkness. Somewhere in the shadows, Dante's men were positioned. Somewhere farther out, FBI agents waited for the signal. But all Maya could see was Vincent Caruso walking toward her, flanked by 4 armed men. Maya. He smiled, but it was the smile of a shark. I knew you'd make the right choice. Let my family go, she said, proud that her voice didn't shake. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. Just let them go. Of course. Vincent moved closer, close enough that she could smell his cologne. But first, I need to know everything. Every plan Dante has. Every location. Every weakness. This was it. The moment where everything could fall apart. Maya took a breath and started talking, feeding him the false intelligence Dante had prepared. Vincent listened, his eyes narrowing occasionally, but he seemed to be buying it. There's something else, she added, improvising. Dante's meeting with someone tonight. Someone important. A supplier from the West Coast. He's planning to expand. Where? Vincent's hand shot out, gripping her arm. Where is this meeting? I don't know the exact location, but I heard him mention the old textile factory in Queens. Midnight. Vincent pulled out his phone, barking orders. This was working. He was swallowing the bait. Then everything went wrong. You know what's interesting? Vincent said, his voice gone soft and deadly. I had someone check that textile factory. It's been condemned for 2 years. Doors welded shut. Nobody's been in or out. His grip on her arm tightened painfully. You're lying to me, Maya. Panic flooded her veins. I'm not, I swear. Where is he? Vincent yanked her close, and suddenly there was a gun pressed under her chin. Where is Dante Romano right now? Right here. Dante stepped out of the shadows, his own gun trained on Vincent. Around them, men emerged from behind containers, Dante's soldiers and FBI agents, all armed, all aimed at Vincent's crew. Drop the gun, Vincent, Dante said, his voice cold as death. It's over. The FBI has everything. The shipment. Your Russian partners. All of it. You think I'm going down alone? Vincent's laugh was manic. I'll take her with me. Everything happened at once. Vincent's finger moved on the trigger. Dante fired. Maya dropped, Vincent's grip slackening. She hit the ground hard, ears ringing from the gunshot. When she looked up, Vincent was on his knees, blood spreading across his shoulder. FBI agents swarmed in, shouting commands. Vincent's men dropped their weapons. And Dante was there, pulling Maya to her feet, his hands running over her frantically. "Are you hurt? Did he?" "I'm okay." She was shaking so hard her teeth chattered. "I'm okay." Dante pulled her into his arms, and she felt him trembling too. "Don't ever do that again," he whispered into her hair. "Don't ever put yourself in danger like that again." "You put yourself in danger for me first," she pointed out. "That's different." "How?" He pulled back enough to cup her face. "Because I'm already lost. Have been for years. But you're good, Maya. You're light. And I won't let this darkness swallow you." "Too late." She managed a shaky smile. "I'm already in it. With you." Around them, FBI agents were leading Vincent and his men away. The port was lit up like daylight with emergency vehicles. The nightmare was ending. But Dante was looking at her like she was the only thing in the world that mattered. What Vincent said before. "About your family. I need you to know, I would have burned everything to keep them safe. The empire, the money, all of it. You're worth more than any of that." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "What happens now?" "Now." Dante's thumb brushed away a tear that had escaped. "Now we rebuild. Differently. Better." He took a breath. "I'm done with this life, Maya. Done with the violence and the blood and the fear. Vincent's organization is finished. His Russian partners will scatter. And he paused. "I want out. I want a life where I don't have to worry about who's trying to kill me. Where the woman I love doesn't have to wear a bulletproof vest to feel safe." "The woman you love?" Her heart stuttered. "Yes." He said it simply, certainly. "The woman I love. Who walked into my war without hesitation. Who risked everything to protect people she barely knew. Who made me believe that maybe I can be more than what I've been." His voice dropped. "If you'll have me. If you can love a man with blood on his hands and sins on his conscience." Maya reached up, threading her fingers through his hair. "I already do," she whispered. "God help me, I already do." When Dante kissed her this time, it felt like a promise. Like a new beginning. Like everything they'd survived had been leading to this moment under the harsh lights of the port, surrounded by the ruins of the life Dante was leaving behind. Later, much later, as they drove away from the port with FBI assurances that her family was safe and Vincent would spend the rest of his life in prison, Maya leaned her head against Dante's shoulder. "What will you do?" she asked. "If you're really leaving this life?" "I have legitimate businesses. Enough money to last 10 lifetimes." He glanced at her, a small smile playing at his lips. "I was thinking maybe I'd go back to school. Finish that degree I started before." He stopped. "Before I became this." "What degree?" "Architecture. I wanted to build things. Create instead of destroy." He laughed softly. "Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it?" "It sounds perfect." Maya laced her fingers through his. "Build something beautiful, Dante. You deserve that." As the city lights blurred past the windows, Maya thought about the woman she'd been just months ago. Desperate. Drowning. Willing to do anything to save her family. She'd walked into darkness expecting to be swallowed by it. Instead, she'd found light. In the most unexpected place. In the most unexpected man. And maybe that was the real truth about survival. Sometimes you had to walk through hell to find your way home. Sometimes the most dangerous path led to the safest harbor. Sometimes the man everyone feared was the one who would move heaven and earth to keep you safe. Vincent had offered her $1 million to betray Dante. But what she'd done instead, choosing trust over safety, love over fear, courage over convenience, had shocked everyone. Most of all, it had shocked herself. 18 months later, Maya stood in the penthouse that had once felt like a fortress and now felt like home. The walls were covered with architectural sketches, Dante's designs for community centers, affordable housing, spaces that would help instead of hurt. Her mother's cancer was in remission, thanks to the best treatment money could buy. Her brother was thriving at MIT, calling every Sunday to talk about his classes and his new girlfriend who thought his sister's boyfriend was intense but sweet. Dante walked in carrying coffee, his shirt sleeves rolled up, covered in plaster dust from the renovation site he'd been overseeing. He'd kept his word. Every promise. The empire was dismantled piece by piece, sold off or shut down. What remained were legitimate businesses run by people who deserved second chances. Former soldiers who wanted out, people like her who'd been caught in circumstances beyond their control. "Your mom called," he said, handing her a cup. "She wants to know if we're coming for Sunday dinner." Maya smiled. Her mother had been suspicious at first. But Dante had shown up every week, patiently answering questions, helping with groceries, fixing things around her new apartment. He'd won her over the same way he'd won Maya, with quiet consistency and unexpected gentleness. "We'll go," Maya said. She turned in his arms, looking up at the man who'd changed her entire world. The dangerous edge was still there, probably always would be. But now it was tempered with peace. With purpose. "I love you," she said. Simple words that meant everything. "Ti amo," he replied, kissing her forehead. Every single day. Outside the windows, the city stretched endlessly. Somewhere out there, other people were making desperate choices. Other stories were unfolding. But here, in this moment, Maya Collins had everything she never dared to dream of. Security. Love. A future that didn't taste like fear. She'd walked into darkness for $1 million. But what she'd found was worth so much more. She'd found herself. She'd found him. And she'd found the courage to believe that even the most broken people could build something beautiful together. Every scar had been worth it. And that's where our story ends. If you connected with Maya and Dante's journey, hit that like button and share this with someone who loves intense romance. More stories are coming soon. We'll see you in the next one.